I was surprised to see one of the most powerful and potent frames in Warframe, not even in the top 10 most used according to the 2023 player stats. I suppose that's somewhat of a good thing, less likely to get nerfed and whatnot, but for those of you who are kind of on the fence, let me say this. Imagine being able to zip around like you got zoomies while vaporizing everything you pass by. I'll explain. For newer players, I do recommend reading up on Gauss on the wiki, or you could get a summary of the abilities in text form over on the Discord if you'd like. Otherwise, this video is more suited to those with a bit of experience with how statuses and elemental procs work. As you should know, Gauss's third ability, Thermal Sunder, has two parts to it, commonly referred to as Cold Sunder and Heat Sunder. The latter is what we're going to be focusing on for this video. Every time you cast Heat Sunder, it deals an amount of damage with a guaranteed heat proc to an enemy. Casting Heat Sunder on that enemy again will deal the same amount of damage plus the damage of the current heat proc. Now you see how this creates a devastating feedback loop that will eventually give the sun a run for its money. This build is tuned for said purpose, and yes, there is an empty mod slot here. I've decided to just leave this one up to you guys. Initially, I figured a rank 6 blind rage would be great to just get the ability strength over 100% so you get the full benefits of kinetic plating's damage reduction. But you could also go with something like rolling guard, as that does give you status removal alongside invulnerability for 3 seconds at a time. Besides, managing kinetic plating's energy and battery drain can be, well, draining. But you also gain other benefits with that ability, like plus 100% base melee damage and 100% stagger chance when in Redline mode. By the way, it may be a good idea to switch the tap hold ability options for easier Heat Sunder spamming, because for some of the tougher enemies like Exo Officers here at Steel Path level 200, it's gonna take more than a couple of casts before they start to feel the heat. And I mean really feel the heat. And this is all without Redline, which will supercharge your nukes further. Actually, speaking of nukes, how would you like to nuke your bank account? Probably don't want to do that these days especially, but if you'd like to save a lot of money buying games at wallet-friendly prices, I saw Green Man Gaming's got a massive sale for Sony and Capcom titles right now for the next few days. Up to 70%, 80%, 85% even on some of them, which is great. And God of War, for example, is going for a price much lower than it has ever gone on Steam for my specific region. So if you'd like to support the channel and your bank account by spending less, check out the links in the description and get gaming today. So yeah, Redline is a great ability that basically boosts everything to do with Gauss, functioning like an overclock if you will. For Thermal Sunder, Redline does stuff like cause Cold Sunder to freeze enemies instantly with just a single cast instead of 2, whereas Heat procs will deal the full damage over time. Combine them for the Blast proc and you can strip armor at 100% battery before inflicting damage. There's even more benefits, but it's safe to say that you'd want to be in Redline mode for the majority of your mission. But the problem is, Redline's charge rate has a cap, meaning you can't charge faster than a certain rate, and that rate scales inversely with ability duration, meaning more duration actually reduces the rate at which you can charge the battery. So you can't just spam Mach Rush 10 times and instantly get to 100%. Here's the formula for calculating that Redline battery charge rate. Take note that doubling the duration halves the charge rate. So more ability duration doesn't necessarily mean better. Depends on how you'd like to use Gauss's Redline. Do you want to remain longer at 100% and don't mind having to spend a bit of time charging? Or would you rather charge the battery a lot quicker for short stints at max battery? Whatever you do decide, Max Redline turns Heat Sunder into an even deadlier ability. Eximus units are a little trickier though, due to Overguard. Even Redline won't help much here, but the cool thing about Thermal Sunder is that it takes into account heat procs regardless of source, so you could apply a metric frick ton of those procs with a weapon like the Tenet Cycron for example, and then tap Heat Sunder for a couple of times, which will increase in damage exponentially to destroy said Eximus. With that said, some targets like the triangles here are just immune unfortunately, so for enemies with indirect weak spots you're probably gonna need to use a weapon. Yes, using a weapon in Warframe. Crazy idea, I know. Here's a bit of Steel Path survival gameplay. Hundreds of kills per minute is totally achievable. I believe I hit like around 200 in 2 minutes. Acolytes should also be cake, the easy kind. However, violence in particular can get a little annoying, as you can see here with my abilities just getting cancelled. Not being able to hit Redline means it'll be harder to strip armor even with corrosive projection, but with a really strong melee, preferably ones with some incarnate upgrades, you should be able to take down any acolyte in a matter of seconds. I guess that would suffice for this short update on Gauss for 2024. This is one of my most used frames simply because stuff like exterminate missions and relic farming and fissures just become as effortless as it can be, to the point where other players playing other frames may start to complain that you're kinda ruining the game for them. It's a topic I've discussed in the past, and it really is mostly a fault with the design of the game. Just something you could consider, maybe keeping the nuking limited to higher level missions instead of those lith fissures on Earth. Just a thought. Let me know yours down in the comments. If this video was helpful, I'd appreciate you letting me know too. That would be great. And if you'd like to support the channel, you can do so through Ko-fi or Patreon, where you can enjoy benefits like ultra-wide uploads and credits at the end of every video. Check out all the stuff in the description, or click on one of the other videos here to watch more.